Let me tell you something, you will not win this battle with a weak mind. Life is not waiting for you to feel ready. The storms don't ask for permission. The pain doesn't knock before it breaks through the door. So if you're going to rise, if you're going to walk into the life that was meant for you, you've got to be mentally strong. Mental strength isn't about pretending you're not hurting. It's about pushing forward while you're bleeding. It's about standing tall in the middle of the fire and saying, I'm still here. You don't become mentally strong by chance. You become strong by choice. You become strong in the struggle. You become strong in the silence when nobody sees the tears you cry, but you keep on going anyway. Some of you are asking, why does it hurt so much? Why do I have to fight so hard? Let me answer you with truth. Because what you carry is valuable. And anything of value will always be tested. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold doesn't get purified without fire. So if you're going through it, that's not proof you're weak. That's proof you're worth it. You've got to stop negotiating with your fear. You've got to stop letting your emotions tell you who you are. Your emotions are indicators, not dictators. You don't quit because you're tired. You rest, then you rise. Being mentally strong doesn't mean you do it alone. It means you learn how to draw strength from the right people, from the right wisdom, from a higher source. You stop depending on your own limited understanding and tap into something greater. Today is not the day to fold. Today is the day to rise up. Because mentally strong people don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They move forward in faith. They act while it's hard. They speak life while everything around them looks dead. So when the pressure builds, don't break. When the world turns silent, don't stop speaking life. When your mind tries to quit, remind it, I am stronger than what I feel and I am built for what I face. Mental strength is not something you stumble upon. It's not inherited like eye color, and it's not handed to you because you showed up. Mental strength is forged, and it is forged in the fire of adversity. You don't get strong in comfort. You don't get resilient in luxury. Muscles are not built in stillness. They are developed under pressure, through resistance, through pain, and through tension. And just like physical strength comes from bearing weight, mental strength comes from bearing life. We all want the glory. Very few want the grind. We pray for strength, but then curse the process that brings it. We ask for patience, but despise the waiting room. But let me tell you something today. The waiting room is the training ground. The valley is the classroom, and adversity, that's the gym for your mind, your faith and your character. You see, it's when life gets hard that we find out what we're made of. It's when the road disappears beneath our feet and we're left standing on faith alone. That's when strength is born. Not when everything is going right. Not when everyone's cheering your name, but when no one sees your struggle, when no one understands your pain, and you still choose to keep going. Peels back the layers of pretense. It removes the distractions. It forces us to confront who we really are, not who we want people to believe we are. When the job disappears, when the friends walk away, when your plan falls apart, that's when you discover the fight inside of you. That's when your inner grit gets activated. That's when your knees may buckle, but your soul starts rising. It's easy to say you're mentally strong when the bills are paid, the relationships are good, and your body is healthy. True strength isn't tested in ease. It's tested in chaos, in crisis, in loss, in betrayal, in disappointment. That's when your strength is proven. And hear this, every time adversity knocks you down and you rise again, you're not just getting back up the same. You're getting up stronger, wiser, tougher. There's a resilience building in you. You're learning how to breathe in broken places. You're learning how to walk with wounds and still declare, I will not give up. The enemy of your purpose wants you to believe that pain is punishment, that setbacks mean you're off course. But sometimes that setback is the very thing that sharpens your focus. Sometimes that closed door is divine protection. Sometimes the thing you thought would destroy you is actually the thing that develops you. Pain is a strange teacher. It teaches without a syllabus. tests without a warning, but oh, how it refines you, how it teaches you to let go of ego, how it pushes you past your limits, how it forces you to find strength beyond your strength. Some of the most mentally strong people walking this earth don't look like it. They may not speak loudly. They may not have accolades, but they've endured storms that would have crushed others. They've survived losses that would have silenced lesser spirits, and yet they rise quietly, faithfully, boldly. That's what adversity does. It grows quiet giants. Mental strength is not always loud. It's not always celebrated. Sometimes it's simply that one decision to get up one more time, to show up one more day, to believe one more time, even after being disappointed again and again. And listen, adversity is not the enemy. Your reaction to it determines its power over you. The moment you stop running from it and start learning through it, that's when transformation begins. That's when the shift happens. You stop asking, why me? And you start asking, what's in this for me to grow? So if you're walking through adversity right now, don't let shame creep in. Don't let fear take the wheel. This moment is not the end. This moment is the beginning of your evolution. The breaking is making you. The crushing is shaping you. The silence is strengthening you. Let this be the season where your pain births purpose. Let this be the moment where your struggle builds stamina. Let this be the fire that doesn't consume you but refines you into someone unshakable. I know the weight feels heavy. I know the nights feel long. I know the tears fall in silence when no one is watching, but keep going. Keep showing up. Keep choosing to believe that something is happening inside of you even when everything around you looks the same. Because strength is not just about pushing through the moment. It's about pushing until the moment breaks. Until your breakthrough meets your persistence. Till your struggle bows to your spirit. Every great story of victory has chapters of adversity. Every strong mind was first broken, bruised, and built back again. Every warrior you admired didn't avoid the battle. They embraced it and were forged in it. So you were stronger than you know, stronger than you feel, stronger than your circumstances. And if you let it, this adversity won't just be the thing that hurt you. It will be the thing that helped you rise. Mental strength is forged in adversity. Let the fire do its work. Let the pressure shape your power. Let the struggle birth your strength. And when it's over, when the smoke clears, you'll look back and say, it was in the breaking that I found my becoming. Your emotions are real. Your feelings matter. Let's start there. Because too many people have been taught to silence their hearts, to suppress their pain, to pretend everything's fine when it's not. But let me tell you something important. What you feel is not foolish. What you feel is not weakness. Your tears are not a problem. They are proof that you are a live human and deeply connected to what matters. Yes, your emotions are valid. You are allowed to feel hurt. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to grieve, to be confused, to feel fear, to be overwhelmed. We don't heal by pretending. We heal by processing. We heal by confronting. The only way to confront what's in us is to acknowledge that it's there in the first place. So don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of your emotions. Don't let them tell you to get over it when they've never carried your weight. Don't let them label you as too much just because you feel deeply. You are not too much. You are just enough. And your heart has every right to express itself. But here is the other side of the truth. A deeper layer. We must also grasp your emotions are valid. They do not have the final say. If you let your emotions sit in the driver's seat, they will take you places you were never meant to go. They'll make permanent decisions based on temporary pain. They'll convince you to burn bridges that you'll one day wish were still standing. They'll whisper lies in your ear that you're not enough, that you're always behind, that nobody sees you, that you'll never get through this. Listen carefully. Just because it feels true doesn't mean it is true. Feelings are fickle. They fluctuate with circumstances, hormones, fatigue, the words of others, and even the weather. So while you honor your feelings, you must also anchor your life to something deeper, something that doesn't shift with the tides of your emotions. Because your emotions can scream, stay in bed, but purpose says, get up anyway. Your feelings can say, you're not good enough. But vision says, Keep building even if no one claps yet. Fear can paralyze you, but faith says, move forward scared if you have to, but don't you dare stop. You see, there is a version of you that lives beyond your emotions, a version that is led by principles, by wisdom, by clarity. That version of you must rise. That version must lead. Because if you keep letting your emotions sit on the throne of your decisions, you will forfeit your future for the comfort of the moment. Let me be clear. Managing your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means stewarding them. It means letting yourself feel, but not letting those feelings dictate your direction. It means giving yourself permission to cry, to pause, to grieve, but then also choosing to rise, to act, to speak life over yourself and move with intention. When you feel afraid, take the fear with you and still walk in obedience. When you feel tired, rest. Don't retreat into despair. When you feel broken, remember that broken vessels can still pour oil. You are not disqualified because you feel deeply. In fact, your ability to feel is part of your power. But power needs direction. Fire is powerful, but undirected fire destroys. Emotion is energy, but undirected emotion becomes chaos. That's why you must learn to discern your feelings. Not dismiss them, not obey them blindly, discern them. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What triggered this response? Is this emotion leading me closer to my values or pulling me away from them? Emotional maturity is not about not feeling. It's about understanding what you feel and leading yourself through it. There will be days when you don't feel strong, but you still are. There will be moments when you don't feel loved, but you still are. There will be battles where you don't feel brave, but you still fight and win anyway. Because mental strength doesn't mean you don't feel the storm. It means you anchor down and ride it out without letting it drive you off course. It means you cry, but you keep walking. It means your hands tremble, but you still build. It means your heart breaks, but your faith refuses to quit. So when fear rises, speak faith. When anger flares, choose wisdom. When sorrow lingers, press into peace. Because you, my friend, more than a bundle of reactions, you are a vessel of divine potential. And that potential is too powerful to be directed by temporary emotions. Pain does not mean you're weak. Let me say that again for the heart that's been secretly wondering if it's broken beyond repair. Pain does not mean you're weak. It means you're human. It means you're alive. It means you've cared enough to be affected, loved enough to be hurt, and lived enough to have scars. Pain is not your enemy. It is not a verdict of failure. It is not a mark of shame. Pain is a signal, not of your weakness, but of your strength, your courage, your capacity to feel, and your willingness to keep going even when it hurts. You see, somewhere along the way, we were taught that strong people don't cry, that warriors don't feel weary, that those with purpose are always sure, always bold, always composed. That's a lie. A beautiful lie that looks good on paper, but crumbles under the weight of real life. Because real strength, it doesn't avoid pain. It walks through it. Real strength shows up with tears in its eyes and still gets the job done. Real strength sits in the ashes of disappointment and still finds a reason to rise again. Pain meant weakness, then every mother who birthed a child would be considered fragile. Every soldier who carried a wounded brother would be called soft. Every survivor of trauma, abuse, illness, betrayal would be labeled broken beyond use. But that is not truth. That is distortion. The truth is, pain reveals where your strength lies. It peels back the surface and shows you what you're really made of. It shows you that you're stronger than you ever imagined, not because you avoided the fire, but because you walked through it and came out refined. You can't tell me that pain equals weakness when I've seen people lose everything and still serve with joy. You can't tell me pain makes you powerless when I've watched people buried in grief speak life into others. You can't convince me that pain is shameful when I know that even Christ himself, yes, even the perfect, suffered, cried, groaned, and wept. Problem isn't the pain, it's the perception. We've treated pain like a stain instead of a badge. We've treated our scars like blemishes when they are actually evidence of battles we survived. What takes more strength? Pretending you're okay or showing up broken but refusing to quit? What takes more courage? hiding your wounds, or choosing to heal in the open light of truth, because pain is a teacher. Oh yes, pain has a voice. It has a purpose. It shows up when comfort has made us complacent. It pushes us out of places where we've settled too long. It awakens us to patterns that are destroying us quietly. It calls us to grow, to evolve, to change. Nobody matures without pain. Nobody builds muscle without resistance. Nobody discovers their full capacity while everything's easy. So instead of seeing pain as proof you've failed, start seeing it as a divine invitation, a chance to become stronger, deeper, more rooted, more real. Yes, pain will interrupt your life. It will knock the wind out of your lungs. It will humble you, break you, bend you, and press you to your edge. It will also build something in you that comfort never could. Compassion, depth, clarity, wisdom, sensitivity, discipline, gratitude, faith. Don't let anyone make you feel like your pain disqualifies you from your calling. In fact, your pain might be the very thing that qualifies you to lead, to love, to serve, to speak, to write, to create. Because people don't follow perfection. They follow authenticity. They follow those who've bled and lived to tell about it. Those who've tasted bitterness and still chose joy. Those who've wrestled in the dark and still came out with hope. The greater the purpose, the greater the pressure. The deeper the destiny, the deeper the cuts. Those wounds, those aches, they are not taking you out. They are shaping you in. Feeling pain doesn't mean you're not faithful. Being in pain doesn't mean you're not blessed. Jesus himself asked, "Why have you forsaken me?" in his most painful hour. And yet, he was still in the center of his purpose. So stop measuring your strength by how pain-free your life looks. Start measuring your strength by your endurance, by your decision to show up, by your choice to keep loving after loss, keep trusting after betrayal, keep giving after being used, keep believing after delay. You don't need to hide your pain. You don't need to fake a smile. You don't need to put on a show. Your strength is not in your mask. It's in your movement. It's in your ability to feel deeply and keep going anyway. So to the one reading this who feels tired, worn out, this pain you're feeling is not your end. It's a moment in the shaping, a part of the process. And when the dust settles and the healing comes, you'll look back and see that the pain didn't break you. It built you. There is a dangerous belief that has crept into our minds that if you're not grinding nonstop, if you're not constantly moving, constantly producing, constantly achieving, then you must be falling behind. That if you pause, you'll be replaced. If you stop, you'll be forgotten. But that is a lie, a trap. Trick of exhaustion that keeps you busy but broken, moving but empty. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't run on fumes forever. You can't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders and expect to keep standing if you never take time to breathe. Even God, after creation, rested on the seventh day, not because he was tired, but because he was modeling a rhythm, a principle, a law of life. You were not created to run nonstop. You were created to move in rhythm, in flow, in balance. So yes, rest when needed. Lay down the burden for a moment. Step back from the battlefield. Turn off the noise. Take off the armor. Let the tears fall. Let your soul exhale. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to be human. Don't you confuse rest with retreat. Don't you mistake stillness for surrender. Don't you think for 1 second that because you had to stop, your purpose has stopped too. The pause is not the end. The rest is not the finish line. It's the reset. It's the recalibration. It's the silence before the roar. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not to fight harder, but to sit down and let your strength be restored. You are not less powerful because you're tired. You are not less called because you're weary. You are not less chosen because your body needs rest and your heart needs peace. Quitting says, "I'm done." Quitting says, "This will never happen." Quitting hands your power over to the pressure. Quitting closes the book before the next chapter has a chance to unfold. And if you're reading this, if your heart is still beating, if your lungs are still breathing, your story is not done. Your assignment is still alive. Your purpose is still unfolding. You can rest your body, but do not let your spirit go to sleep. You can sit down for a season, but don't throw away the dream. You can catch your breath, But don't stop moving forward in your mind. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs in life come after the rest, not before, not during the chaos, but after the moment you chose to lie down, to surrender the hustle, to let God carry what was too heavy for you, and then rise again with a new fire, a new vision, a new strength. You see, rest is an act of faith. It says, I trust that the world will keep turning even if I stop spinning. I trust that what's for me will not pass me. I trust that I don't have to earn my worth with nonstop effort. And if you've been carrying something heavy, a dream, a grief, a ministry, a calling, family, and you feel like your strength is running out, hear this loud and clear. It's okay to rest, but don't quit. Don't throw away what you've prayed for just because it got hard. Don't cancel your destiny because the journey has been long. Bury your potential under fatigue. Instead, lean into the rest. Let it heal you. Let it restore you. Let it remind you of why you started. Let it awaken you to what matters most. There comes a point in your journey where your own strength won't be enough. Your own drive, your own motivation, your own determination, they will run out. Not because you're weak, not because you lack vision, but because you were never designed to carry everything alone. You were never meant to be self-sufficient to the point of isolation. Even the strongest vessels need refilling. Even the boldest hearts need mending. Even the most driven souls need direction. Too many of us are trying to pull life out of things that have no life in them. We're trying to draw confidence from comparison, trying to pull validation from applause, trying to fill spiritual emptiness with material gain, trying to fix heartbreak with distractions, trying to overcome deep wounds with shallow relationships, trying to fight soul-level battles with flesh-level tools. You wouldn't drink dirty water to quench your thirst, so why are you drinking in lies to feel worthy? Why are you leaning on people who drain you to feel supported? Why are you scrolling endlessly through highlight reels hoping to find peace? Because whatever you're plugged into, you're pulling from, and what you pull from will shape what you become. If you're plugged into fear, you'll move in anxiety. If you're plugged into people's opinions, you'll constantly be shifting. If you're plugged into performance, your identity will rise and fall with your productivity. That's why it matters where your strength comes from, because life will test you. Life will press you. Life will push you to the edge. And when that happens, you need more than hype. You need more than temporary motivation. You need more than surface level affirmations. And yes, part of that strength can come from your faith, your unshakable belief in something greater than yourself. But let's make this practical too. Drawing strength from the right sources means surrounding yourself with the right voices. It means identifying what feeds your soul, what clears your mind, what steadies your emotions, what realigns your spirit. Sometimes the right source is silence, solitude, a place where you're not trying to impress anyone, a place where you can hear your own thoughts, hear divine direction, and be reminded of who you are beneath the noise. Sometimes the right source is community. Not just people who like you, but people who speak life into you. People who call out your greatness even when you don't see it. People who sharpen you, stretch you, cover you in prayer, challenge you to grow, remind you of the assignment on your life when you're